Hello and good morning, you two. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm fine. Thank you.
Well, we got to start off with you guys are going to be in Asheville on September 4th at the Salvage Station. I mean, my God, you guys coming to the Carolinas and being up there in the mountains and stuff, you could not ask for a better atmosphere.
Great. We're looking forward to it. Looking forward to the whole tour, of course.
Absolutely. And this tour is just magnetic. I mean, everybody that's on board with this tour is just, I mean, this is what it's going to be all about, the concert that everybody's going to be talking about.
If we don't have a nice vibe, there's going to be something wrong.
Bringing this tour together, I mean, we all went through the lockdown together and stuff like that, but now you get to come out and it's, it's the Roaring 20s all over again, and you're part of that.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we were in the States was 2019, and that was immediately prior to COVID and all the lockdown. Get on the road again, and to be doing our first proper tour since COVID hit is in the States. How fantastic is that?
And to go right along with it, I mean, you guys have created the official anthem for the 2022 Commonwealth Games. I mean, Champion is, and the lyrics are just fit right into it perfectly.
Well, thank you, sir.
Did you design it to be exactly that? I mean, was there some sort of did they approach you or you approach them saying, "Hey, look, we've got an idea"?
Well, we were actually asked to contribute a track for the Birmingham 2022 festival, which is connected to the games. So I was already writing a song with an eye on the games anyway. So when we were asked to do that tune, we wrote a song about Champion, and it was we had an eye on the games. We didn't know that it would get used for that, but when we heard that they'd chosen it as the official anthem for the games, that was it couldn't be any better. And I mean, I wrote a verse and a chorus, and I gave it to Matt, and he wrote another verse, and then we added the rapper guys, Gilly and Daps, and it all came together beautifully, and it absolutely sums up what the Commonwealth Games are about, really, or all games, the competition, finding out what you're good at and trying to be the best at it.
See, I'm glad you said that because all games, meaning it could be the business world, it could be something with chefs and artists and stuff like that. Because, I mean, the lyrics, you have the power and speed with the will to lead. That sits inside your heart. You're going, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's literally could apply to any field, any creative thing as well, Really, it's about, finding out what you can do and trying to be the best at it.
When you guys went into the studio to work out UB45, which is a celebration of the sights and sounds of everything you guys have put together, what is it like to go back into those tapes and into that music? Because I mean, because music constantly evolves. Did you feel the same thing?
Yeah, we haven't touched any of the original masters or anything. Good. It's just that taking Matt on board as our new vocalist. He's been working, we have been working on old songs anyway for live performance. And he just does them so well that we thought it would be a lovely idea to revisit some of those classics when we're celebrating the 45 years, to revisit and re-record some of those earlier classics would be, a real nice, fun thing to do, as well as just always writing new material, which is what we like to do. Matt sounds so good singing our old stuff that we thought it would be a nice idea.
Matt, did you always feel like that you were a member of this band? I mean, from the very beginning, It's like, I feel like I should be there.
Yeah, I was imagining that I was a member of UB40 from when I was like 3 or 4 years old. Like, I've always been a huge fan, and it's wicked that I'm going to be able to hear my voice singing on the tunes.
Well, the one thing that I've taken note of with these live crowds, they seem to be more activated. They're not just sitting in the seats anymore. Because it's almost like something was taken away from the fan, and they're going, whoa, 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 never again. Let's make this a big celebration.
Yeah, well, we've never had seated audiences, and if they are seated audiences, we usually beg them to get up and dance. I mean, we can't stand playing to a seated audience, and the plan is always to get people up and dancing and singing along. It's a party atmosphere that we try to generate. We have that much fun on stage. expect and demand that our audience does the same.
One of the things that you guys have done is you've created your own identity. I mean, it's just amazing how you fit right in with everything that moved us right through the 80s, the 90s, right up here into this new millennium.
Well, that's just following what you love, you know. Follow your heart musically, follow what you love to do. Try not to follow any fashions, just do what you do, and hopefully everyone else will come along with you, you know. That's all we've ever done. We've never tried to please anybody. We've never tried to make music for the fans. We've always made music for ourselves and hoped that the fans would come along with us, and they always have done. We've got an incredible following, an incredibly loyal following, you know, and it's constantly growing. I'm always amazed at how many young people come to our shows.
When you come into the Carolinas and things like that, do you get to go explore? Because, I mean, being in the Asheville area, I mean, we're talking about the Biltmore Estate. We're talking about so many different precious places of the Carolinas. Will you guys get to, you know, explore the mountains and stuff?
Possibly. I guess Matt might do, because I'm in the States. So, yeah, he's going to be a bit like a tourist, I would imagine. he'll want to have a look at stuff, you know. But when you've been touring for 40 years, I don't know, you kind of end up feeling comfortable in venues, you know, and hotels, and you have to find a way of doing it so that you don't exhaust yourself, you know, in the first few weeks. Yeah, especially when you get to my age, you have to be a bit more careful about what you do for entertainment, you know.
No, I totally get that, because it takes a little bit longer to get over everything.
Absolutely.
Traveling with the Wailers, Maxi Priest, and Big Mountain. I mean, this right here is a moment in music history. Are you guys going to document so we can hold on to it?
I'm sure there'll be recordings on social media. You know, we always carry recordings with us and put them up on social media. So yeah, there'll be live stuff going on. But what a great lineup, you know. And we've worked with the Wailers many times. We've obviously worked with Maxi many times. We've recorded with Maxi. We know him well, you know. The only guys we don't know are Big Mountain. So looking forward to meeting them guys, and I just think it's a great lineup. If you're into reggae, then it's a night you can't miss.
I've talked with them many times, so I'll send you all the interviews, okay, so you can be up to date. So the horn section of UB40, my God, I mean, historians have got to say that you have your own wall of sound.
Yeah, and I mean that's principally down to late saxophone player Brian Travers, who passed away last year, sadly. But he, you know, when we started, there was just him, just the sax player, you know, and our first album had only saxophone on it. But he was the one who dreamed of a horn section, and yeah, we built a horn section. First of all, we recruited a couple of members of the band to play horns. Yeah. Which was kind of difficult. It kind of dropped them in the deep end because they obviously weren't horn players, but they learnt parts that Brian taught them. But then we got a horn section together, and the guys that we have now have been with us for nearly 30 years.
Matt, he mentioned that this was the first time you're coming to the United States. Are there any high expectations that you're looking for or anything like that?
Not really. I think I'm just really excited to just see everything, really. You know, Central Park,
oh man,
all these places that I've always wanted to go to, but not just wanted to go to, you know, wanted to go there playing music, and yeah, you know, Central Park, Hollywood Bowl, like all these places that.
But you're so right about that, especially Hollywood Bowl. I've sat in those seats. I mean, there is a moment that takes place when that band hits that sound. Oh my God, Matt.
Yeah, I can't wait to see people's faces, you know, and I can't wait for these guys to see my face when we walk out on stage.
One of the things that people, the average listener, always associates reggae music with the Caribbean and stuff like that. How did reggae get kicked off right there in Birmingham?
Well, we have a high immigrant population in Birmingham, nice. Especially from the Caribbean. So right from as long as I can remember, I've been hearing Jamaican pop music before it was even reggae, you know, when it was ska.
Yeah.
I was hearing that everywhere I went, you know, at school, in the youth clubs, in coffee bars, and then later in the pubs and clubs, you know. And literally on the streets, you could hear Jamaican music everywhere. So we grew up on it, you know. And when reggae was formed, when it became reggae in the late 60s, it just became the music we all loved. And all of the band all come from the same area. We grew up on the same streets. We hung out together from when we were kids, you know. So that was the music that we grew up on. It wasn't strange to us. Obviously, that if you travelled outside of our area, then reggae wasn't so popular, you know. But where we were, it was the most popular music, I would say.
So many bands start in the garage. Did you guys have your garage days?
We had a cellar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Underneath the apartments of Brian, our sax player, and Earl, the bass player. They both lived in flats in a large Victorian house, and we took over the cellar without the landlord's knowledge and set up the band down there and rehearsed for about 6 months down there.
So what is it like for you guys to own the song Red Red Wine, and then people discovered that Neil Diamond actually started that, but you guys are the ones that put that baby on the map?
Yeah, well, we didn't even know it was a Neil Diamond song when we covered it. We really didn't. We knew the version by there was a version by Jimmy James and the Vagabonds, and there was a version by Tony. One was an R&B version, and one was a reggae version. And when we covered it, we thought we were covering the reggae version, and had no idea until we found out through the publishing, you know, that N Diamond was credited. And we were going, that must be Negus Diamond or somebody, you know. We had no idea. And then, of course, people were saying, you know, asking us why we covered a Neil Diamond song. And, you know, it was all new to us, really.
When music that you create inside the studio is carried then to the listeners, what is it like to go through the fact that you're about ready to hit 45 years? I mean, does it shock you that music lasts that long and continues to grow?
It shocks me that we've lasted that long. That we still have such a strong and faithful fan base. You know, I don't think anybody imagines that they're going to have the kind of success and you know, what's the word? For as long as we have, for 45 years, I don't think anybody expects that. I'm sure the Stones didn't expect to be still, you know, making music when they were 80. You know. But I guess if you hit the right note, people, and you keep making a music that people can relate to and identify with, then you know, you can keep doing it. We've discovered you can keep doing it. But I think we probably expected about 10 years when we started, you know.
This is going to age me, but I mean, I remember dropping the needle on the UB40 albums, and I mean, you just always experienced the deep cuts. I love your deep cuts because it's part of the escape, and it really is an adventure when you go into the deeper cuts.
Yeah, well, that's what the music was all about for us in the 70s when we formed the band. We not only loved reggae, but we loved the production, we loved the dub, you know, and for us it was an essential part of the music. It's a studio art, a creative thing that happens in the studio, but we also like reproducing it on stage, you know. Yeah, that's very much part of the music for us.
But don't you love being right there in that studio when imaginations are coming together at the birth of the song? I mean, it just seems like there's a level of creativity that is so high. It's such a rush.
Yeah, that's the other buzz, you know. Playing live music is one side of it, but the other thing that, you know, that I love as a musician is to work in the studio. Working in the studio is the most creative thing that gives me the most satisfaction. But then once I've created something, you know, once the band has done something new, the one thing you want to do is get it out there and play it to your fans, you know, not just play them the record, but to go and play them live and see their reaction and get their approval. You know, there are two very different mediums, one is the studio and the other one is live, and both of them are essential for us.
When you put together a song, I Can't Help Falling in Love, and you know Elvis had his success with it, but I'm a mobile entertainer. I've been out there for 29 years, and that song still resonates in people's lives. Your version really brings people together.
Yeah, and it's one of the most popular first dance wedding.
That's it.
tunes.
It is.
Which it's another thing that was just pure serendipity. Really, we were asked to do that tune for a movie. We were asked to do an Elvis tune for a movie that was using Elvis music as the soundtrack on the movie. Honeymoon in Vegas was the film.
Yeah,
and in the end, it never got used because we were so, as usual, we were so late producing the track and sending it to them that they'd already put the soundtrack together. So they didn't use it, which of course they regretted later, because when we did release it, it went #1 in 30 countries. So. But that was not our choice. We actually were asked to do that, which how could we possibly know that our version would become so popular?
Oh my God, I was that jock on the radio. The phones just endlessly would not stop. Everybody wanted to hear it. And then you'd play it, and they'd say, well, do it again. They didn't understand the radio station format. Play it again. How has streaming become a part of your success? Because we all went through that stage with streaming where it was like, what is this? Why are they doing it? But now it seems to be a partner.
Yeah, well, the whole industry has changed, hasn't it? You don't sell records in numbers anymore. People stream. People download, and they don't even buy whole albums anymore. They sort of cherry pick tracks that they like off albums, and maybe take 2 or 3 tracks from the latest album by somebody, and that's become the way to go now. It doesn't make the same money for the artist that selling records used to. So that's kind of changed the industry dramatically. I think eventually the artists will get rewarded better as streaming continues and the deals change. I think artists will probably start to get better reward for their work. But I think we're back to essentially being out on the road and earning money on the road as traveling minstrels.
Absolutely. And that means buy the merchandise when you go to the concert, September 4th in Asheville at Salvage Station.
Yeah, buy the merch.
Please come back to this show anytime in the future, you two. The door is always going to be open for you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Well, you be brilliant today.
Thank you.